Let's take a trip back in time to the ancient markets of Baghdad. Just imagine it. The air thick with the scent of spices, the shimmer of silk everywhere you look. But among all those bustling stalls, there's one shop that's, well, completely different. A place where the most valuable thing in the world is sold: wisdom. You heard that right. This was the business of a man named Hakim Bashir, the merchant of wisdom. His shop didn't trade in jewels or textiles. No, he traded in knowledge, in books, in life experience, a commodity that was about to completely change the course of one young man's life. And that young man's name is Sheikh Chilli. Now, Sheikh Chilli is 25 years old, and he's got the ambitions of a king, but, the work ethic of a professional daydreamer. His whole life is basically spent building these incredible castles in the sky. And this really gets to the heart of it, the huge gap between his imagination and his day-to-day life. While he's dreaming of leading these massive caravans loaded with gold, his reality is, well, it's him sitting under a tree, doing his best to avoid any actual work on his father's farm. So, after one particularly vivid dream, Sheikh Chilli goes to his worried father and just begs him for a stake to start his life. His father, a poor farmer, reluctantly digs deep and hands over his entire life savings, just 10 dinars. And you have to understand, this wasn't just starting capital, it was literally everything the family had. So, with those 10 dinars in his pocket, Sheikh Chilli makes his way to Baghdad. He's totally dazzled by the markets, but then one shop sign catches his eye: Hakim Bashir, Merchant of Wisdom. He's intrigued, of course, and immediately thinks, aha, this has to be the shortcut I've been looking for. For a single dinar, a tenth of his entire fortune, Sheikh Chilli buys his first piece of advice. Hakim Bashir takes one look at this eager young man and offers him a simple but profound warning. Haste is the devil's work. Before you make any decision, think 10 times. A pretty clear instruction, right? But it's about to be put to the test. So, how does a daydreamer interpret thinking 10 times? Well, as you might guess, it's not exactly how the wise merchant intended. Sheikh Chilli's first test comes almost immediately, and it just goes to show that hearing wisdom and actually understanding it are two very, very different things. He walks out of the shop and almost instantly bumps into this cunning fruit seller, a real smooth talker, who offers him magic mangoes. And the promise? Oh, it's a good one. Plant the seeds, and in just 1 month, you'll have 100 fruit-bearing trees. So, Sheikh Chilli, trying to be wise, quickly counts to 10, convinces himself he's thought 10 times, and spends all 9 of his remaining dinars on the scam. He rushes home so proud, telling his father about his brilliant investment. But his dad just delivers the crushing truth. There are no magic mangoes. Trees take years to grow, not a month. He's been completely fooled. And just like that, his family's life savings were gone. Now he's penniless and totally desperate, so he heads back to Baghdad. And you're not going to believe this, but he falls for another scam. A notorious trickster lures him out into the desert, promising hidden treasure, and steals the last couple of dinars he had scraped together. I mean, this was rock bottom. His naive greed just made him the easiest target in the world. Broken, starving, and completely humiliated, Sheikh Chilli goes back to the only place he can think of: Hakim Bashir's shop. And when Hakim sees his despair, he doesn't offer him money. He offers him something far more valuable: a chance to truly learn. So his apprenticeship begins, and let me tell you, it was not glamorous. He starts with the most basic tasks: sweeping floors, serving water. But here's the key. He's not just working, he's observing. He's watching Hakim deal with everyone from the richest merchants to the poorest beggars. He's learning patience and discernment, not from some book, but from raw, direct experience. And through Hakim, he starts to understand the true nature of value. He watches his mentor give 10 dinars to a poor woman whose son is sick, expecting absolutely nothing in return. But then moments later, Hakim charges a rich merchant 20 dinars for a piece of advice that will save a massive business deal. The lesson was crystal clear. Value isn't some fixed number. It's defined by need and by circumstance. After a year of this, Hakim gives him a test. He hands him 10 dinars, the very same amount he started with, and tells him to buy supplies for the shop. But this time, Sheikh Chilli doesn't rush. He spends the entire day comparing prices, checking quality, and finally makes a really smart purchase, even returning the 2 dinars he saved. He had passed. Okay, so now Sheikh Chilli is finally ready. Hakim gives him a 50 dinar loan to start his own business. But this is no longer the kid who chased magic mangoes. This is a man who understands the value of patience, hard work, and having a solid plan. And his business model? It was so simple but so effective. He saw that farmers out in the villages couldn't get their fruit to the city market. So he bought a cart, started paying the farmers a fair price, and then sold the fresh produce in Baghdad. No shortcuts, no magic, just plain hard work and integrity. And it worked. I love this because it really captures his complete transformation. The same situations that once made him look like a fool now highlight his wisdom. Where he once fell for any get-rich-quick scam, he now sees them coming a mile away. Where he once dreamed of profit, he now focuses on creating real, honest value. And this next move just shows both his success and his incredible character. He goes back to his father, not just to repay the 10 dinars he lost, but to give him 100 dinars, a 10-fold return on the trust his father placed in him all that time ago. But his true test comes when an honest merchant in the market goes bankrupt. While everyone else turns their backs, Sheikh Chilli lends the man his entire life savings of 300 dinars without asking for a single coin in interest. He's no longer just a merchant, he's become a pillar of his community. And in the end, Sheikh Chilli's journey really comes full circle. He hasn't just become the successful and respected merchant he always dreamed of being. He's become something much more. As Hakim Bashir gets older, he passes his shop, his entire legacy, onto Sheikh Chilli. And he reminds him of the ultimate lesson, that building character, building good relationships, building a good heart, that is the only wealth that truly lasts. And here's the beautiful, poetic final twist. Those so-called magic mango seeds, you know what? They eventually did grow, not in 1 month, but after 8 long years. Those trees became a living, breathing reminder that real growth, real success, it can never, ever be rushed. It requires patience. And that really leaves us with this question, doesn't it? We all have those ambitions, those goals we want to achieve instantly. But this story is a great reminder to ask ourselves, what are the magic seeds we're trying to rush? And maybe, just maybe, could we achieve so much more by focusing on patient, steady growth instead?